Hello everybody and welcome back to Space Engineers, where today, off camera, I have done a little bit of collecting. Let me just check the weather. It's raining now. Alright. So let me turn off the vent and let's get going outside. Alright. So it's raining. There is a dog coming straight for me. Hey there, little guy. You wouldn't happen to want to run away, right? Okay. Yeah, I didn't think that was the case, huh? Let's make some steel plates real quick, just so I can have enough for starting this build. That's right, I also need to turn back on the assembler. Alright. I also need to turn on the refinery so I can take the stuff from the refinery. Excuse me? Would you mind not existing, little guy? This is twice now in just this recording session that I've needed to run down wolves that wanted me dead. But we still have our healing station. Hell yeah. And since I'm not going to be in here for a while, I'm probably going to turn off the lights. Add to the ambiance. I'll probably keep those off at night because that looked really nice. Alright. So looking at this, we've got a few of these at the ready. So it's time to start tinkering. So let's start off with a landing gear. Landing gear type 2? That's right, I forgot I got that. But let's just take out the normal landing gear for now. And minimize. Then we place this out here where none of the animals are going to try to kill me. Alright. Construction, comp, and motor. Alright. Motor, and a few construction comps ought to do. Alright. I'm realizing that I may have packed a little bit too much. But so this is just going to be kind of like the stand where I'm building this for now. Because we need a place to at least set the thing before we start working on it. Alright. Pick up a few more of this. And set this down. Alright. So that is functioning. So now, for the basics, I am actually going to be changing up how I build this one. For the fact that I'm going to build around what I need to make. So start off with, which way is this facing? I think this is front. So let's build up a few blocks and to the side a little bit, because this is going to be the main center of the ship. Now, how do I make hydrogen thrusters? So there's large. These are pretty big. So we're going to need a few big tanks for that. So let's go ahead and recharge my hydrogen before I start using some of the tank there. But also, how much to make one of these? Need a lot of metal grids, actually. How many metal grids do I have? I have 0. Alright. Let us large... Let's just say large hydrogen thrusters times 2. I think I should have enough cobalt. I don't know if I have enough nickel. I do. Just barely. Okay. So let's at least get these set in place. 'Cause this is going to be kind of the... I'm going to say that this is going to be where the back area starts. Since that's going to be the main zone that I'm working on. So it needs to be a little bit wider to accommodate those thrusters. And then up a few blocks. Actually, I need a whatchamacallit, a conveyor converter there. Don't I? Conveyor converters need interior plates, which I have none of. Correct? Conveyor converter. Here we go. Yeah, I need interior plates. So let's make a couple of those. Converters. Boom, boom. Alright. And whilst that's going, we also need to worry about how much hydrogen we want to store. So this, I'm going to split this down the middle here. Because this is basically going to be that's where everything starts. Because these can be where the thrusters are sitting. So let's make a little encasement there. And then I will cut a hole in the middle here for a small conveyor tube. Because I do believe the converters have small conveyor tubes on the sides. Which I do believe. Let's get some of these going so I can actually start putting them down. Conveyor. So we need conveyor converters and small conveyors. Small conveyor can go there. And then the two converters do have the slots on the sides. So you can set those. Oh, I didn't make this one wide enough. Alright. This is why it's good that we're building this out first. Otherwise, I would not have known that. Alright. Set that up there. Setting up the basics here. Alright. So this is basically just going to be for the back thrusters for getting into space. Because this is not going to be the main thrust source. Oh, there's another dog coming for me. Come on. You see I'm busy, dude? Can't you see I'm busy? Come on. Come and get some. Nana nana boo boo. Let me just take a little bit of. Okay. I guess it just didn't register that I was there for some reason. Alright. So let's get to making some of these. Just to get this all connected here. I can't reach that from here. Alright. So that will at least be the back thrusters at the ready. Okay, so let me try to finish up on these a little bit. Alright, that needs some more interior plating, so let's also make a small conveyor. Conveyor. Small. There you go. Alright. There's that. I need a little bit more here in a minute, but let's at least get this started. Alright, so that's done. That's good. That's as far as we can go right now. Let's get the thrusters made. So that's these industrial large hydrogen thrusters. So I can start with those going this way. Then I also need to figure out how I'm going to store a good amount of hydrogen to at least let those go until we're out of Atmo. Because that's going to be the biggest problem, is how do I keep these fueled enough for me to leave atmosphere. Alright. There we go with those. Alright. Fuel up that one a little bit more. That one. I should also make a button panel, or like a command panel on the side, so that way I can just turn those off, because as soon as I add hydrogen to the mix, those are going to blast off and burn my face off. And I'm going to be very, very unhappy. So connect those up to there. Alright. Panel. There you go, control panel. Let's just add that to here for now, so that I can access the stuff. Oh, it works already. Alright. I just realized you don't even need a computer to make this. I may as well, though. Computer and display. Alright. Display, computer. And so now that we've got the, I guess, space thrusters, as I'm going to call them for now, these two I'm going to turn off for now, because I'm going to need to build around these. And that's going to be a little dangerous. So I don't know if these actually, you know, deal... I think they do damage to things behind them, which would make sense. So I need to make a little bit of a structure here to keep these enclosed. And then I'm going to put a hinge on the back here, so that way I can basically open and close these, as well as, you know, turn them on and off. But now I can put some ion thrusters going backwards back here as well. So once we're in space, we've got backwards force. But also I need to make sure that this thing can fly in, you know, atmospheric conditions as well. Basically, I'm trying to make a Swiss Army knife of a ship that will hopefully be able to re-enter atmosphere without detonating. But you never know. Alright. Let me go and recharge real quick. Because now comes the part of trying to build the hinges. Let's put away these real quick. I need hinge part hinge. Oh, that's hinge 3x3. Hinge part. Okay. So whilst that's a cooking, I am going to probably try to work on the front end of this thing. Well, maybe it'd be better to, I guess, strengthen the bottom hull a little bit more. Because this is also going to need to have oxygen tanks on it as well. This is going to be tricky. Just needs to have oxygen tanks on it, so I can go ahead and, you know, breathe. Kind of necessary function of life. But it also needs to have hydrogen tanks, enough for these two to fire off at full cylinders for at least a few minutes. I don't know how much these take. Probably a lot, considering they're freaking huge. I also need to figure out how the hell I'm going to attach this to the base. I could probably add an attachment point on the bottom and connect it into all this. But let's see. 3.86 HL? Is that liters per hour? I don't know. How much can a small hydrogen tank store? Actually, let's just grab a normal hydrogen tank. A normal-sized hydrogen tank. This is big, but I should be able to slot it... yeah, maybe I'll need to increase the size a little bit, actually. Okay. So let's, like I said, expand out the bottom a bit. I'll do it by 2 blocks. So that'll give me a little bit more space to build around the stuff. Alright. And so, if we do that there, we're also going to need to do that up here. That'll also give me a little bit more space to put some, well, padding for in case of crashes. But also, that will let me put some extra materials in there as well. Problem now is whether or not these are going to be light enough for me to break atmosphere or not. That's the big $1 million question with all this. Is this going to be strong enough for me to break through atmosphere? Alright. Let's go and check on the hinges real quick. I should have been able to make all this stuff, right? Yep. Alright. So all the hinge pieces are done. Make sure there wasn't any dogs coming to grab me. Alright. So we need a hinge. There we go. So let's add a hinge, square in the middle there, square in the middle there. And none of this should have power right now, I think. So I don't think I can move these into position. Okay. So apparently I'm missing a motor and a computer. I don't know how the heck that happened, but... Motor... Nope, that goes up here. Motor and computer. Alright. So let's build out this one. Yeah, so right now it's just kind of floppy. But I don't think I can make wind power on the small stuff, can I? Yeah, no. So what can I use for a power source here to at least get it started? I feel like adding a solar panel this early would kind of start to charge the battery. Or maybe I can add just a normal battery to get it so it has some power going. It should last for a little while I'm building. So that way I can at least get these, hinges programmed. Maybe? That is going to beg the question, what happens if I run out of battery time in space? Let's add a small battery. Let's get that crafting, huh? Battery. Small battery for now. While I go and recharge my stuff. There we go. Alright. That'll at least give me enough power to make the hinges work right. I'll probably attach that down here as part of the kind of temporary system. I know I'll lose the whatchamacallit, the power cell in the process, but it should be fine. So now the hinges, I should be able to move them upright. So current angle, let's move their velocity to 2 RPMs, so 90 degrees is out. Okay. That, I think, can work, but I'd rather them be pointing flat outwards. So your upper limit should be 0. And your lower limit should be 90. So that way, here, you're open, and then the other one is sitting at 0, with its velocity set to about 2.2. That's what the other one set to, right? Yeah, 2.2. Alright. So its 90 is inside. So its lower limit should be 0. Check. And open. Alright. And so now... Alright, there we go. And then if I take both of these and reverse them, they should close back up. Alright. So this is how I need to build it. With these like this, that way I can go on ahead. Oh, I built them too close. Nah. Okay. Fine. I guess I'll move them for now. Need to move them at least a block or so out. So that way I don't cause any problems here. Alright, let's just move them 2 blocks out. Give me a little extra space on the top and bottom to work with. Alright. So this should be far enough that I can build the hinges no problem. Alright. And I know that this probably does not create an airtight seal, so this whole back area is just going to be isolated. Alright. Let's go on ahead and get all those set. Hinge. There you go, hinge. Right. That says hinge 3x3. There you go. Alright, so there we go. And I'm actually gonna see what happens if I do that. That should make it, in theory, so they both actually turn in the same direction. In theory. Just making it a little easier on my little... Ah, jeez. That scared the hell out of me. Damn dog. Hey, how about you eat a little bit of this razor blade, buddy? That's for spooking me. Yeah. I'm gonna go and get healed real quick. Okay. I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, my hydrogen tank's empty. Let me, refill that a bit. Alright. No more damn dogs out here. Good. Anyways. I guess back to making these. Nope. Where the hell was I? Hello? Hinge part. Hinge part. Yeah, it's all going good. Okay. Now then. Set both of these to 2.2 again. I feel like that'd be a good RPMs to sit with. So 90 is pointing inwards. And then for you, 90 should also be pointing inwards, correct? Alright. There we go. 90 is pointing inwards. Alright. So now we can just set both of these to have a lower limit of 0 and an upper limit of 90. So they can stay like that, and I can go ahead and start building little hatch flaps to keep these things sealed up. Alright. So that'll basically make like a barn door type design to keep these things, I guess, covered. I don't know if I'm going to need to do some angle blocks here on the sides to keep the edges from getting clipped here. I think it should be fine. Let's really quickly test it, actually. Alright. Both of yous reverse. Alright, we're good. The barn doors work. So this should also let me put some ion thrusters back here for while those hydrogen thrusters are basically out of power, or just, you know, while we're in space. This thing is going to be an absolute hydrogen guzzler, I'm going to guess. Because basically, these two thrusters back here, their only job is to get us to punch through the atmosphere. That is their only job. Once we're in space, we're going to be on ion power. And while we're on Atmo, we're going to be using our atmospheric thrusters. So now, if I get these to close on up, there we go. Let me cover up the thrusters. Then I could probably build out here, at least up to the block before the middle section, I think. Let's go on ahead and test that. So that shouldn't clip, right? Alright, good. Which means we can go on ahead and basically build like a little dividing wall. Oh, I'm out of steel plates. Although, no, I'm gonna not have a dividing wall here. Since these two are gonna be blowing on all cylinders, we're gonna need to basically just let them go. Alright. Didn't hit any of these. Good. Alright. So this is our main atmosphere breaker. I'm gonna go and grab some more steel plates real quick. I do still have some. Good. Let's make a few more light armor blocks while I go and recharge. So we're at least making the main exit power here. The ship may be huge by the end of this, but you know what? If it works, I'm going to be extremely happy. So let's go ahead and close these up. I don't know if ion power is going to be enough to break these. I will be upset if it is. But so this basically makes a nice little compact spot for me to put some ion thrusters on the back here. Which... anti-radiation medkit. When the hell am I dealing with radiation? What? Okay. Anyways, ion thrusters, here we go. I got these. These are cool. But these are gonna sit kind of like this, I guess. But these need thruster components. What do I need for that? I think I need platinum for that, don't I? Let's see. Thruster components. Yeah. But I only need a little. So maybe I can actually do this? How much platinum do I have? Basically none. Okay. So I may need to be a little bit more sparing on the ion thrusters than I thought. How do I get more platinum? Is that just around the planet somewhere? I don't think so, but I can hope so. And let's actually put this down around here. And hopefully, basically I'm making a little safety zone. So if I hit anything, it's not going to just straight up destroy these thrusters. Alright. Maybe I should make a little safety wall between the two. So if one goes, the other one's not going to blow up with it. I don't think so. Let's also attach this to here. Alright. But the barn door design is at least going to work mostly, I think. Just need to put some thrusters back there so I can actually move in space. Alright. But once I put some atmospheric thrusters on this thing, I could probably test it flying around a bit. But I'm going to need to give it some good batteries, too. So next up on our list of things to make is probably the hydrogen tanks. Because that is going to need to be something we do pretty early so that we don't have to connect it all the way across the ship. As well as hooking in some oxygen. Oxygen is going to be very important. So, let's get our hydrogen stuff going. We will have sci-fi hydrogen engine. What's the big one of that look like? Oh, okay. There you go, hydrogen tank. So we're just gonna have one of these. And I'll go on ahead and hook it into... Actually, if I set it like this, it should hook directly into the one in the middle. Which actually works perfectly, so... need some large and small steel tubes. I think I saw some lightning strike over there. Ow. Alright. Large and small steel tubes. Let me grab some of that. Alright. Also need to work on the top part here. So let's go on ahead and pick up a few more. And hopefully once I'm in space, I can make a little, I guess, hangar ship to keep this thing somewhat charged while we're up in space. Need small steel tubes. Do we have any? No, we don't. So I am going to come over here and add that to build planner. I also need to go down there and fix up all that. So let me set this on to cook whilst I go and deal with all that. Alright, I'm also going to go ahead and recover a bit. so I can get to the undercarriage basically down here. I can get to doing all this. And hopefully we can get this actually flying by maybe end of next episode. I don't know how much this is actually going to work. Let's just shimmy a little bit further in. Pick up all these. You need to remember that I can just move around like this. It is on ice, so I have like no friction as I shove my head into the ice. Alright. I am going to need to remove that battery eventually, because that piece down there is just not going to get built otherwise. Alright. Let's go ahead, get out from under there. Alright. So this, let's go ahead and open the barn doors. Alright. I will need to add a little bit more to the top there, but that can come at a later date when I'm actually closer to finishing this off. Alright. Let's make the hydrogen tank now, because this is going to be a real power guzzler for now. So I'm actually going to turn off the hydrogen tank. Alright. And so if I put all of these on the same, let's just call it hydrogen items for now. And so that is going to be off, so that way none of this is working whilst we're building. But this also would fit perfectly into connector. An inset connector maybe would be good. Let's see. Is conveyor cap, conveyor frame. There, connector. Alright. So if I put a connector here, it just barely pokes out the bottom. But if I put it one more block down, that may work. So conveyor, we need a one block big to big conveyor. I don't think that is a thing. Unless, hopefully it is. I don't think it is. Okay, that sucks. Is there normal conveyors that I can use for this? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. There's the conveyor junction tube frame. Does the frame move anything? Or is it just there to be there? I don't know. Let's put one of these on down here for now. Never mind. Need more interior plates. Okay. This is gonna be a minute to get it working, huh? How's the battery looking? I should probably keep an eye out on that. Battery fully depleted in 3 hours. Okay. That's no good. Let's add another one just to keep it powered whilst I'm working. Alright. Small battery. I hear that dog, damn it. Where the hell are you? Stupid mutt. Jeez. They don't even drop any useful items anymore. It's just meat. Yeah, that's right. Walk away. Alright. So that is enough to make another small battery. Let me just, hi there, buddy. And, come on. We're not done conversating yet. Ding dong. There you go. Still a few more of them, huh? Hi there, friendo. Alright. And goodbye there, friendo. Anyone else? That's what I thought. Alright. Anywho's and what's it? Let's recover some of that HP. And recharge a bit. Alright. Now that's right, I was going to go and put down another battery. So that way it'll stay on for a little longer. Battery. Let's set that down. Here on the other side ought to work. That'll keep it powered for at least a little bit longer, right? We'll put it in 7 hours. So I have 7 hours to work on this. Lovely. I may want to put a solar panel on the top here, but I am currently going to be ending off this episode because I will probably need to go and collect a few more materials. So I'm going to set this on, and I'm going to say thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Space Engineers, and yeah, hope to see you all in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.